Agreement dialogue. Look at the sold information available. Can you understand how a reasonable buyer would price your home somewhere between blank and blank? Identify a value range that can be justified by sold information. Create the 3 layers, I like to call them, or three levels. So top, middle, bottom. The bottom would be leaving money on the table. We wouldn't want to leave money on the table. Middle is where I'd say that would probably be the best place to be because it's a little more aggressive. And top means it's a trial run, and we're going to have to see what happens in the next 30 to 45 days. But of course, and always follow up with, of course, naturally with the plan. Above that number, it's not something I'm willing to work with. Why? That means I would acknowledge that there's a possibility. And if I'm like the doctor of real estate, and I know that there's really not a possibility to get above this number, then I can't let you go down that path. It would be malpractice. I hope you got that line, guys. This call, of course, this webinar is being recorded, so you can come back and listen to these golden nuggets. So, looking at the sold information available, can you understand how a reasonable buyer would price your home somewhere between blank, blank? Identify a value range that could be justified by sold information. If they say no, share with me why you feel that way. If they say no, share with me why you feel that way. Don't just hit them with the whole, I can't believe you don't agree with me. Find out why. Find out why. If they say yes, so based on your needs, where do you feel we should price this house? They need to take ownership. They're always going to look at you and say, well, Mike, you're the professional. Where should we price this house? And you should say, well, I came up with a healthy range in pricing for entry into the marketplace. Of course, the market dictates the price, demonstrates the price. Where would you like to list at? Where would you like to enter the market at? Where would you like to list at? Where would you like to enter the market at? At that point, when you're transitioning and trying to close the deal to list, do not say, what would you like to sell at? Because do you even know where it's going to sell at? You don't know where it's going to sell. The market decides where it sells at. Okay. Response equals reasonable price. I agree. Let's now make sure that this price will indeed satisfy your needs. And here we are. Eliminate the seller's remorse. Eliminate the seller's remorse. So here's what's interesting. A lot of times when I coach agents, sometimes they get stuck with seller's remorse. So let me read it. Before moving to a mutual expectation, which would be stage 4, you must ask one more question. How will you feel if your home sells tomorrow? How will you feel if your home sells tomorrow? If I would feel like it priced too low, ask for more questions. So, right, sometimes they say, well, Mike, if it sold tomorrow, I feel like maybe it leaves some money on the table. Ah! Okay. So I would say, I would feel like it priced too low. Then you ask these questions. I ask you why you feel that way. Is your goal to get your needs met within your designated time frame? Would you agree that pricing your home at appropriate price entry point increases the odds of getting one or more offer within your designated time frame? Would you feel your needs were any less satisfied if the offer came in on the first day as opposed to day 60? You want to expose, during that 45-minute conversation, you want to expose any issues. And sometimes an issue is that we priced it aggressively and we got an offer the first day. Address it at the presentation. Address it at the presentation. Another reason why listings don't sell is the proper expectations were not set at the listing presentation. The proper expectations were not set at the listing presentation. Here we go. I guess the point is that all the research we just analyzed ensures us of the most appropriate price entry. What business are we in? We're in the reassurance business. We're in the reassurance business. So if we're in the reassurance business, you need to reassure the seller, even write out the presentation. I guess the point is that all the research we just analyzed ensures us the most appropriate price entry. Now, we really shouldn't care when the right person sees it as long as they see it within our designated time frame, correct? Therefore, if someone is ready and willing and able to pay, just use the number, $1 million for your home, sees it the first day, it's on the market, we should expect an offer. Wouldn't you agree? So let's sum it up. If we priced it correctly based on our research and you got the offer you wanted, wouldn't you agree that we did what we needed to do? Get the acknowledgement at the table. This will help eliminate some seller remorse. You see, we really can't control when the right person sees it. We can only control if they see it. We can only control if they see it. So if the right person sees it on the first day, this is in no way means we priced the home too low. It simply validates the fact we priced it just right. Does that make sense? Here we go. Let's read that line again. So if the right person sees it on the first day, this is by no way means we priced the home too low. It simply validates the fact that we priced it right. It simply makes it confirms that we priced it right. Okay, cover mutual expectations. See, once the price entry point has been determined, you can set the boundaries for a win-win working relationship. If an expectation was the seller's number one priority, cover mutual expectations before price. Okay. Transitional phase. Let's switch gears for a moment. Now that we've agreed on a price entry point, there's one more area that we need to cover. It's been my experience that conflict only arises when expectations differ. Would you agree? The listings will expire if you do not set the expectations at the beginning. Okay, so again, it's been my experience that conflict only arises when expectations differ. So if the seller has an expectation and you have an expectation that's different, whether it's 1 week from now, 2 weeks from now, 1 month from now, there's going to be a difference of opinion. You should get it away at the beginning. So great, with that in mind, let me share with you what I feel you have the right to expect from me in my role as your selling consultant. As you can see, my pledge to you is, and then hand them the seller my role, your role, and review. Here we go, let's talk about my role. What you can expect from me, Michael Napolitano, as your listing consultant. Now, guys, let me just share this with you. Some folks believe that what we do is actually not complicated. In fact, it's not complicated. It just takes a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline, it's a lot of moving parts. So by showing this and discussing with the seller what the expectation is at the beginning, you might close a lot of gaps and you might convert higher than you normally would. And that's the key, folks. The key is to get better and better and better. So here we go. What you can expect from me: treat all parties honestly. But Mike, I thought you worked for me. Well, hello. You still need to be honest, though. Always ensure we're going to keep a win-win relationship. It's got to work for me. It's got to work for you. It's got to work for you. It's got to work for me. Respect your time, needs, and finances. I'm going to stay focused on satisfying your needs. We're going to communicate openly and frequently. And by the way, when you say frequently, define frequently, right? Are you communicating once a week, twice a month, 3 times a month? What I have found for me is every 10 days. So before I ever had an assistant, I used to say that I'm going to communicate with you every 10 days, and I put it on my calendar to make sure I speak to them. This way, if they expected me to speak before 10 days, I would say, well, hey, Sally, you know, I did mention to you that we speak to each other every 10 days. So happy to answer your call now, but know that I usually call every 10 days. Set the boundaries, set the expectations. Then you'll not be, I gotta answer the phone. I gotta call them back. Set the expectation. Okay, communicate openly. Represent your best interests in any and all negotiations. Put your interests above all others, including my own. Provide continuous, comprehensive market information, and recommend the best pricing strategy. Many agents are not continuing to give comprehensive market information. And if you share that, tell them, when do you give this market information? Is it once a month, twice a month, once every other month? Communicate openly with your potential client. You're going to help prepare their home for effective staging and showing if possible. You're going to market and promote your home in a professional manner. You're going to review the plan. Let them know what to expect. This way they're not calling you when the house is not selling. They're not calling and saying, what's going on? Like, I'm not working. The more you tell the seller that you do, the more they believe, the more they're reassured that you're doing the things necessary to get their property sold. You're going to proactively solicit multiple offers. Now, of course, every state is different, and New York, we keep going. So, of course, always contact an attorney. But we're going to proactively solicit, and your MLS. We're going to proactively solicit multiple offers. You're going to withhold any confidential information that will affect the sale of your home. 6 legal obligations. Okay, confidentiality is one of them. Okay, obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accountability, and reasonable care. That's the 6 legal obligation. Check your agency disclosure form and go back to the books. And if you're able to recite, you should be able to recite that, by the way. OLD CAR is the acronym. Obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accountability, reasonable care. I can't tell you how many agents I beat out on listings because they didn't know what OLD CAR was. I've said, oh, does your agent know what OLD CAR is? Well, that's how I'm going to treat you. Okay, withhold any confidential information that will affect the sale of your home. Did you know, guys, by telling someone that it's an estate sale, and again, I'm not an attorney, so telling somebody it's an estate sale could possibly be giving up the seller's position when selling a property. Meaning, you're telling somebody that you're almost implying that they need to sell it quickly and they're going to get a good deal. I'm going to reassure the seller that will not happen. Why is that important to a purchaser, by the way? Aren't you implying something? Oh, an estate sale. Well, yeah, you might be implying that they want to sell it quick. Therefore, you're giving up the seller's position. So respond to and resolve all issues quickly and timely. My opinion is this. Set the boundaries on communication. I immediately tell sellers, I don't care who they are, millennial, whatever age group they might be in. Texting, I say this. Texting, I'm not as responsive as I am by my phone. Why? Because I'm in the car constantly, and I'm not able to answer text while driving. Okay, and also texting is not as efficient as well. We're better off getting on a 5-minute phone call rather than a 30-minute text conversation. Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree? Let me explain why I say that, because it goes back to number 13, respond to and resolve all issues quickly. The problem with this is that most agents will keep deferring, or as they call it, punting, defer, to handle issues later, because they're fearful of going right into the headwinds of whatever that problem may be. Once you've done that, then you're already heading down the pathway of an expired listing. So respond, and to resolve issues quickly and timely. So you're going to follow up with other agents who show your home. Stop trying to double end the deal, folks. Let them know you're going to follow up with agents who show the home, right? Via text, via email, phone call. Let them know and provide them with a report of how you've communicated with other agents. And of course, provide them with post-closing information and consulting service, and assist you with all your future real estate needs.